Building physical attributes and swing mechanics takes decades of daily repetition, but strategy can be understood and implemented extremely fast. We're talking weeks compared to years, as it's not a structure of the body, but of the mind. Hard work on the physical and technical components is the most straightforward path to reach a highly competitive level. This gives the player more resources to employ during a match, which for a long time outweighs the ingenuity of using those resources more efficiently. But every missing component becomes magnified at a higher level. While training and drilling can be done without much thought, strategy, on the other hand, tends to be the most elusive, as it cannot be obtained through blood, sweat, and tears, but only through working smart, for which many players creates a, quote, barrier to entry for several reasons. Every seed has great potential, but not all make it to the surface. Number 1, ignorance. Most coaching is unaware of the macro side, as strategic instruction primarily focuses on micro-level tactics and shot-by-shot adjustments. In addition, many players only believe what they see or what appears to be immediately in their control, such as making or missing the last shot. It's easier to focus on what feels tangible than waste time with theory, thereby ignoring the danger of not knowing what they don't know. The next level is always harder to achieve, where strategy is among the advanced concepts. Number 2, conditioning. Players tend to become more biased year over year, practicing what made them successful initially and becoming numb to the fact every skill yields marginal returns that follow an asymptotic curve. The stubbornness and ego that comes with success drowns out the possibility to unlock a new realm of improvement. If strategy is a second priority, odds of learning dramatically decrease due to the cannibalization of focus on other skills or distractions. Number 3, cognition. Even with a systematic method to strategy, in-person lessons aren't geared for prolonged explanations to what seem like simple conclusions to a specific situation. It's highly likely that the student would get bored or not see any more value beyond a quick answer. Additionally, a system like poke, brawl, and dive requires extra mental energy to understand new terminology compared to familiar terms that tend to be tactics oriented. Number 4, critical thinking. Many people have dormant or deficient critical thinking skills from mundane work or traditional schooling that discourages thoughtful responses that are highly conditional. It's far easier to think in, quote, black and white, and to accept one-size-fits-all oversimplified answers from tennis coaches included. Strategy requires a comprehensive model with multiple variables, so without being curious and nuanced to craft a system, this could be a long process. For a seed to sprout, the right conditions for germination must be met. Levels of problem solving. It's possible a player can ace a 100-question multiple-choice test on strategy, but fail to apply much of that information in a real match. Information only becomes knowledge when organized into a system that can respond to a changing environment. That's the problem with fast answers and memorization, as someone may know the first 10 numbers in the Fibonacci sequence, but draw a blank when asked, quote, what's the third plus fourth number minus 1? The player must be capable, when dropped into a labyrinth, to run into a few walls, but identify their location and problem solve their way out. The system itself is the answer, and the answer to every question is, quote, it depends, but you can produce the right answer every time if you know the system inside and out. Breaking of self-image. Over time, players often develop a self-image of what their tennis should look like, given inherent strengths and weaknesses. While knowing yourself is paramount to strategize in the present, having a staunch identity will create limitations in terms of what you should or shouldn't improve. Instead of growing and learning, the mind becomes myopic to anything that doesn't fit that narrative, which often includes learning new skills or understanding alternative viewpoints from your non-primary styles. Part of becoming better is stepping beyond boundaries of comfort, or at least not erecting artificial barriers to begin with. While you don't want to abandon your best qualities by copying other players, nothing is stopping you from gaining proficiency in all aspects of the game. Learning through simulation. The mind is a simulation machine, which means from past experiences, it can forecast what will happen in the future. That's why sane people don't jump off high ledges or into water with ravenous crocodiles, because you'll know what will happen. And likewise in tennis, you're recognizing patterns among the chaos that result in beneficial versus harmful courses of action. Although the brain requires data gathered via making mistakes, those mistakes don't have to be your own, because much of being strategically capable is knowing what to do in all situations. Studying film is among the best tools to train the mind, given that newly observed data is being organized into a poke, brawl, and dive type of framework to increase the level of problem solving. This can be done from memory as well, given that many players collected sufficient amounts of data, but it's the active, energy-intensive process of cranking out a more accurate model of the world that separates mere reference data from true intelligence. For a, quote, hard case set strategy, the theory lays the foundation to learn quickly and sustainably from first principles, so advice doesn't crumble or contradict as variables change. For a, quote, natural at strategy, the theory supplements their intuition to fill in the last missing pieces. Tennis is so multifaceted that players can choose where and how to spend their focus, and similar to life, can succeed in their own way, with or without strategy, which is a beautiful thing to a degree. Though topics like this aren't for everybody, ultimately it comes down to a player's aspirations and what they're willing to do to achieve it.